We're at Electric Picnic and I'm joined now by Laura Izibor. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm very well, and I know we just have to get out of the way at the start because you're probably sick of hearing of people bringing it up over the years, but obviously it all started a good few years back, the 2FM Song Contest. Could you ever have imagined where things were going to go from there?
Not for a second. I mean, all the interviews I've done to this day, it's the beginning. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it all started when I done the 2FM Song Contest, you know, and I got a manager from it and record label interest, and then it just sort of grew from there. You know, we got a demo, we sent the demo everywhere, and basically showcased for like the good bones of a year, and eventually signed on my 17th birthday. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely can say I don't think I'd be here or be here as soon if it wasn't for the 2FM Song Contest. Yeah.
And it's a good competition as well, because a lot of people now are coming from sort of reality TV shows, and unfortunately for them, I don't think people have the same respect, even if they're like, I've heard people sort of saying, a few people have said to me, I don't think Leona Lewis is great. Now, I think that's really untrue, because I do think she's a great voice, you know, but I think because of the X Factor connection, people are going, just don't take people seriously. Would you kind of think it's a good or a bad idea, some of those shows?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, isn't it? That's sadly, that's what those things are made for.
Yeah.
I think there's, you know, some good talent definitely comes out of it. My only concern would be more so for the actual artists themselves, because they're spiraled into things. They don't understand, you know, a build, because it's all about to get to one place that you keep this sane. But being thrown into the spotlight, huge, you know, you're guaranteed like what, a million sales with Simon Cowell's flag behind you. And then that sense of credibility and that I've worked for this, sometimes I think that can really kind of mess you up. You know what I mean? So I think people want it, people like watching it, and if certain artists, you know, singer-songwriters they really want it, it's a good opportunity. I personally just couldn't have done it, because I just don't feel that music is supposed to be judged by 3 or 4 people that wouldn't necessarily have my musical, you know, respect for. So I personally wouldn't do it, but I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with it, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right, really. I think you appreciate something so much more if you've worked really hard for it, as opposed to it just being handed to you on a plate. And unfortunately, when it is now, it's handed to you on a plate and then it's gone again. I mean, Leon from last year on the X Factor, I don't think, I've heard a rumour he's recording an album, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of people that you just never hear from again. Yeah. But your music, I have to say, if you hear it and you don't know, you would never imagine it was somebody Irish. It's just, there's so much soul in the songs, and where does that even come from? I mean, I know it's a bit of a general question, but where do you think maybe some of that comes from?
I mean, I really don't know. There hasn't been anybody in my family that was well, my sister can sing. She kills me when I give her props. But you know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been a musical family and stuff. I never sang until I was 13, and I was in a drama class in school, which was compulsory because I'm so shy. And I was asked to get up and sing, and literally never sang until then, and that's just what came out, you know. And everybody said you should go and get some lessons and really try and pursue it. So I just kind of kept getting further and further into it. That's when I started piano, and then I started writing, and then by like 15, I was like, right, I gotta do this. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah. And
that's when I entered the competition.
And what would you say, I mean, I've heard that you've supported the likes of Al Green and obviously the late, brilliant James Brown. I mean, I just can't even imagine what that must be like. But do you get to actually meet them? Because you know when you're supporting acts and people go, oh great, yeah, we're hanging out, and you're like, no, actually no, we wandered by and I couldn't make eye contact. But what were they like, some of those people?
I didn't get to meet James Brown. I met everybody in the band, because it's sound check is usually when you get to kind of say hey. Yeah. But just to support him alone, that was definitely enough. But I did meet Al Green, and I got to hang out with him.
Brilliant.
In his dressing room for like 10 minutes, and you know, he's the most surreal, larger than life kind of spiritual man that you're just amazed when you're in his presence. So that was by far, you know, the biggest highlight, supporting anybody who was with him, you know.
And I suppose another big thing is lately, obviously, one of your tracks has been featured on Grey's Anatomy, and I couldn't get over when I got the PS I Love You soundtrack. I saw Laura Izibor Carousel. I went, oh my God, Is that something, does someone ask you in advance about stuff like that? Or, I mean, obviously, I knew you weren't going to say no, like, but I mean, were you kind of a bit taken aback?
Well, it's the label are actually doing their job, you know.
Yeah.
Probably the first artist to say that, but they really have worked, and the record's not even out yet. So the LA department of Atlantic Records, they're kind of hooked up with the movies and stuff, and yeah, they firstly got Nanny Diaries, and then that crew passed it on. They were like, check out Laura Izibor,
Yeah.
and that's when Grey's Anatomy came, and all the other sort of things. So yeah, I get the heads up. I get asked because you know, you have to sign, you have to little contract involved. So yeah.
It's great to get something like that though, because it kind of breaks you into a new market in the States, which a lot of certainly Irish acts and even European acts, they never get an opportunity to do that. And the likes of Bell X1 have been included in the OC, and that's all it takes, and suddenly they're on David Letterman and everyone knows who they are, you know.
Yeah.
And you performed earlier on, so I believe I missed, unfortunately, because I was down at work, but I've heard fantastic reports. How was it? Was it great?
It was so great because I've been away for a while, and you know, the record's finally ready to come out, and finally having a band together. We got a band from New York, so there was a lot you know, in here waiting to come out, so it was a really special gig for me. It's the first gig I've done with the guys from New York, and you know, it was a full tent and there was so much love there. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do a few headline shows in October, so hopefully we'll get a few of the people here today down there in October.
Can we ask whereabouts, or do we know yet? Or
I think, you know, check out MySpace, Laura Izibor, that'll have all the dates, but I think possibly Crawdaddy. Yeah,
Brilliant.
It's a good spot.
so I know you're only here for the day. Are you going to get a chance to go and see anyone? Are you going to bother, or
Yeah, no.
you got to go in and prop up the bar? Yeah.
No drinking. Focused artist here. Yeah, I want to see the Kills.
Yeah.
Gonna check out Duffy, see what she's like.
She's great, I think.
Yeah, I've never seen her live, so I'm gonna definitely check that out. And Franz Ferdinand are always a good festival band.
Bit of matinee.
To mush, let the fro go crazy.
Excellent. Well, Laura, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and best of luck with everything in the future, and we look forward to the gigs in October.
Great, thanks for having me.